Canadians have questions in regards to Justin Trudeau's Christmas vacation, while his bootlickers in the media, quote, don't want to hear any of this garbage. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend as we head into yet another week. Now, Parliament, of course, is still not back in session. Nobody's back at the House of Commons yet. Yet the news still seems to be a brewing, especially as the new year went into full swing. And Justin Trudeau, of course, making claim after claim about his Christmas vacation, that first, he was going to pay for it. Second, that it was gifted to him. Third, saying that, hey, he's going to cover costs. Look, the reality is, what happened with Justin Trudeau's vacation isn't a surprise to me. We talked about it on this channel last week. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Where, again, it was announced that, hey, Trudeau didn't pay for his vacation. If you were out of the loop from what happened, if for some reason you haven't paid attention to any headlines in the last 5 or so days, I guess Justin Trudeau took his vacation to Jamaica, and he had said that he would be paying for that holiday when, in fact, it was once again gifted by the same family that funded the Trudeau Foundation and gave him the same villa to vacation in over a year ago. Now, the problem here, and where I talk about conflict of interest, because some people, believe it or not, jumped into the comments saying he's allowed to go on vacation and it was gifted to him. What's the big idea? You know, other politicians go on vacations and other politicians do things, so what's the big deal? Now, I wanted to touch on a video today that surfaced from the mainstream bootlickers, presstitutes, media, and talk a little bit about what happened there, because we have here Breakfast Television. I believe this is Breakfast Television Toronto. I just want to take a minute to take a look at what they had to say, because this host, this guy who crosses his legs in a very feminine way, much like our Prime Minister, is talking on this couch about he doesn't want to hear the garbage about Trudeau taking vacation. Now, I will stop the video periodically. I'll throw in my 2 cents because, again, fair use. But let's get into it and then we'll discuss. Let's start it off, and I'll show you where I've got a problem with this video, because it's a doozy.
All right, so it is the holidays. It's the early part of the year. In Canadian politics, it's also known as get mad at politicians for vacationing time. So that has continued into 2024, and this next story revolves around our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. So Trudeau's office is clarifying that he and his family, including Sophie and the kids, everyone's down in Jamaica, at, quote, no cost to taxpayers, end quote. That's the statement. Initially, it was said that Trudeau's family would pay for the stay and that they would reimburse the public for the cost. The ethics commissioner was consulted for the trip. That's important to note. Last year, the Trudeau family were in Jamaica, and it cost taxpayers $160,000. We're talking travel, security. A reminder, he's our Prime Minister. The PM was found to have broken ethics rules previously, so I understand this at times being a touchy subject with Justin Trudeau when traveling abroad. But this is now, it's now becoming very consistent, Mayor, and I'm kind of getting sick of the story. Where do you want to start with this?
Well, as someone who is in a blended family, I think the idea that Sophie is there should not cause anyone any kind of alarm or start any kind of, rumors, or, when you have split, you do try for the kids to sort of be together at holiday season. You're creating new traditions. So I know that part of the story is sort of catching fire a little bit. So I think, we need to put that out. And the next one, I'm with you, Sid. It's a frustrating rhetoric. It's a frustrating narrative that kind of keeps coming back. He needs to take a break. He's got a family. I mean, a lot of people who work hard go on vacation. And
first off, I'm going to play fashion police a little bit here. I don't know whose curtains or drapes this lady who's speaking is wearing, but they're hideous. That is the most hideous outfit I've ever seen in my life. And she looks very uncomfortable. But what she's talking about, what these bootlickers are talking about, which doesn't shock me, is, again, justification for Trudeau. Now, listen, everybody, if you work hard, I want you to focus here on a prime minister, not Justin Trudeau, but any prime minister who's in the Prime Minister's office, they're technically working 7 days a week. They don't really get days off. While Parliament always isn't in session, of course, they're traveling around the world. They got to talk with delegates. They got to be in meetings constantly. They're running a country. So I'll give a statement like a bit of a coinciding to say they're worthy of a holiday once in a while and they're worthy of a break. The problem here, and what these folks aren't recognizing, is that the reason people are scrutinizing Justin Trudeau's vacation costs are because he has printed more money than God. He's run up more costs than any prime minister combined in Canada's history. He's put us into ridiculous amounts of debts, and he's going away and jet setting on vacations that essentially, with security detail, with flights, with food, with booze, with everything accounted to it, costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. The problem people have isn't this prime minister taking a break. The problem people have is the lavish, snob, vacationing type sticking their nose in the air saying, I get, lavish vacations, while you plebs sit at home and live in tent cities and struggle to pay your bills during times where interest rates are at an all-time high, at times where people can't afford to even eat Christmas dinner, let alone have a meal. Justin Trudeau's jet setting around the world. Now, the problem I've had, and one problem I've always said, while this thing sits next to these guys on the couch, talking about, well, I come from a blended family. Here's the problem. The Canadian taxpayers pay for what Justin Trudeau did, for where he went, for what he was doing. And I am guilty of saying during that video that if Justin Trudeau wants to have his ex-wife there because, his kids are there, they all want to get along, they want to be a family unit and celebrate the holidays together as a group rather than divide everybody, which is really uncommon for Justin Trudeau because we know how he loves to divide everybody. I'm all for that. I'm all for a family being together during the holidays, especially if they can get along after a separation. Now, I've had my opinions about this separation. I believe it's a farce. I've heard rumor, and again, I can't find any documentation that Sophie's new doctor surgeon boyfriend joined them on this vacation as well. But the problem is that what Justin Trudeau is on the hook for financially to go on this vacation, if, again, you missed the last video on this, or if you're unaware of what the Prime Minister covers to go on a vacation, he is supposed to reimburse based on the cost of flights versus what it costs to run his plane. So what they would typically do is say, if you're going to this portion of Jamaica, how much would it cost to fly from Ottawa to Jamaica on a commercial flight for the average person? Now, again, their accommodations were gifted via conflict of interest by somebody who donates very regularly and healthily to the Trudeau Foundation. My question again comes into what kind of kickbacks are coming in play. What kind of breaks will be put forward. I mean, you call it no conflict of interest at all. They're friends of the family. If you donate to their organization, that's a conflict of interest. I don't care how you slice it. So Justin Trudeau, even if he takes his wife, his ex-wife, the kids, the boyfriend, whoever, this trip may have cost him a couple $1,000s, like maybe $5,000 or less, while the rest of the Canadian taxpayers pay for their booze, their food, their security detail, their round-the-clock treatment. Am I the only one who has a problem with this? These guys have a problem with it. Let's continue anyway.
He is someone of huge note and importance to our country and requires some security and some assistance with that. Some ways to get there, ways to get back. I mean, are you going to be sitting there and then all of a sudden Trudeau's next to you on your way to Jamaica? I don't think so.
Like
no other country would require
eggs
that.
Benedict in the morning, like no security around him. Like,
Yeah.
is that what we want, really, Tam? I'm getting up to here with it.
I think what's
Is that what we want? Yes. I'd love Justin Trudeau to go eat with the regular people and have eggs Benedict around them. Maybe somebody would knock some sense into him, right?
set it off was, of course, his trip, that famous trip to Tofino, when he went and was on vacation on the first ever Truth and Reconciliation Day, officially here in Canada. I feel
The black reporter has to drop in that, oh, it was the first Truth and Reconciliation. So the reason they do that is so that, again, right away they're virtue signaling by justifying the trip and the cost. So it's nothing to do with Trudeau's lavish spending. It's he was there for Truth and Reconciliation. However, these are the things he did. This is typical presstitute fashion.
Like every vacation after that was scrutinized, so much so that, again, we had the issues with the Aga Khan's private island, him going there and staying with family. This time around, though, he's gone to visit friends. He's already cleared it with the ethics commissioner as well, so that's fine. And
who is also a liberal. Let's point that out. The ethics commissioner who has no ethics.
I agree. We do need to pay for his security because he is our prime minister. And I think that he deserves a break, especially around Christmas time. And I don't see any issue with that. If he was staying somewhere that was $10,000 a night on the taxpayer's dime, that's a whole different situation.
She does have a point, and again, it was $10,000 a night, but it was not on the taxpayer's dime in the sense that, again, it was covered by somebody who donates to his family's charity, his family's organization. I don't think the Trudeau Foundation is technically a charity. I could be wrong. They're just embezzlement. But that's a conflict of interest. That's the problem. And again, these bootlickers, take a look. Again, I know I said this lady's wearing somebody's curtains, but these folks are all wearing designer clothes. Now, keep in mind, when they go onto this show, I'm under the understanding, anytime you watch these shows at the end, they always say wardrobe provided by. So keep in mind, these folks don't have to buy their clothes. These folks don't have to live in a tent. They don't have to decide what food they're getting later this week because they're government funded. They're very well looked after. Completely oblivious to what's going on in real Canadians' lives.
But he's going to visit friends and family at a friend's resort of some kind. I think that is just fine.
Perfectly
there
innocent.
are moments, like at the Queen's funeral, like those were not cheap accommodations. No. The Prime Minister and team had, and we can go back and forth on kind of what's appropriate and inappropriate there, because I kind of see both sides of it. But again, I'm very proud to be on a show where we don't carry a lot of water here. Like we kind of call it as we see it. And I at times have not been a real friend of this Prime Minister. But I'm done with this. This is the most garbage headline in Canadian politics right now. There is nothing more ridiculous you're going to see on any website than that. Do you know what like a backbench MP in their first term in this country makes? It's close to $200,000. That's your money. That's our money. That's my money. Tam's, Mayor's, everyone. All right? You don't hear about where anyone goes on vacation who's not Prime Minister. You don't hear about where they spend that money, because that's still technically our money. Maybe not security detail with Polyev, maybe not security detail with Jagmeet Singh, but that's still, we still pay all of them. And I don't bring out that card a lot, but that.
Mr. Hypocrite, while you're bringing out that card, let's point this out. So what he's saying there, and what doesn't hold any weight or any water, is that he's saying Pierre Poilievre goes on vacation, Jagmeet Singh goes on vacation, and nobody questions it, minus security detail because they don't have any. Well, here's where I'm going to say we don't question it. They're spending their own money to go on those vacations. They're not reimbursing a portion of flight costs. If Pierre Poilievre takes his wife and 2 kids on vacation, he has to pay for that vacation in its entirety. He doesn't get a bonus or a kickback from a family friend. He doesn't, he doesn't, God, like the audacity of this guy to say, well, that's our money. Yeah, I've said for multiple years, I think politicians get paid way too much. I think mayors get too much. Keep in mind, they make their own wages. They give themselves raises, self-appointed raises, self-appointed evaluations. I'm with them on that line saying that, politicians make way too much money. But him saying, well, backbench MPs make, $200,000 a year. That's your money. It is your money. And something should be done about that. However, when they go on holidays, Canadians aren't paying the price for that because their salaries are paying for that. Now, to say, well, our salaries pay for that, that's like saying you have to argue that a police officer goes on vacation because our taxes pay their salaries. It's the most asinine argument I've ever heard in my life to justify what Justin Trudeau does.
That is a fact. And I'm talking like the most inexperienced MPs in this country make about $200,000. They've barely been in the House of Commons. So until I know where everyone in the Conservatives went on vacation, until I know where everyone on the NDP side went on vacation, the Parti Québécois and the one person left in the Green Party, until I hear all of that, I don't want to hear this garbage. It's the most ignorant thing in Canadian politics right now. I want to go.
Is that they paid for their holidays.
Because anytime they go on vacation, guess what? We're paying for it too. We're paying for Polya's vacation, Jagmeet Singh, everybody. And even the ones that aren't important. Let's be honest, the real backbenchers. We pay for all of them. He's the Prime Minister. He still is very, very, very important to what we do and how we conduct our business.
No, he's
I don't
not.
care what you think of him. And you need to find a new headline. There's enough of them. Believe me, there's enough. I've seen the polls. You've seen the polls. It's a lazy headline. It's ridiculous. Find a new angle, because we're getting really lazy in this country when it comes to this. Back.
I find it very hypocritical because, again, if you want to talk about media being lazy in this country, look no further than Global News, look no further than CTV. The companies that produce content like this. This is breakfast television, so I believe that's City TV. I haven't watched cable television in years, so I could be wrong as to who produces breakfast television, but this is Breakfast Television Toronto, and these hosts are completely out of touch. Again, government-funded presstitutes, don't forget, that want to sit there and back up the Prime Minister. Maybe what should happen, and this is where a lot of people talk about, well, Alberta's always pro-separation and this and that. This is where the rest of the country, it seems like a lot of people in Ontario, like mostly around the Toronto area, want to huff their own farts and back up the Prime Minister and Olivia Chow and all these other folks and say, oh, they're all in the right, they're all in good positions. What we should do is just separate from Toronto and Ottawa, that whole little section of Southern Ontario and Quebec, and just let them have their own country. Like if Quebec separates, let them take Toronto and Ottawa, and the rest of us could just live happy lives. At least I think that's what's needed to move forward. But I don't think that Canadians are in the wrong with this garbage, as this host says, by questioning what our Prime Minister is doing, again, after setting record inflation, record debt, record spending, printing of money during pandemics and lockdowns, shutting his citizens in, telling them they can't go out, legalizing hard drugs while making people live in tent cities, getting hooked on fentanyl, mass suicides, depression, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. But we're wrong for saying, why do you get to go live the high life while the rest of us sit back and put up with all of that? That to me is the most asinine argument ever on the planet. I would be questioning this if it were Pierre Poilievre. I'd be questioning this if it was Jagmeet Singh. I think you should question all forms of government when, well, they think they're above everybody else, when they treat themselves like elitists. And that is the problem here. Again, folks, it's turning into a rambling video, but more or less wanted to show you this clip because I found it so hypocritical and so funny at the same time to watch how the mainstream media brown noses Justin Trudeau in full, what was it Robert Downey Jr. said in Tropic Thunder? You never go full gamer word. Can't say it on YouTube, I know. But they did that here. They went full. They went full on the meter here, and yikes. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think we should be questioning Justin Trudeau's vacation? Do you think this is a laughing stock? Again, companies like this are making us the laughing stock of Canada. I think maybe people should start telling BT we don't want any more of their garbage. I don't know. This is part of the reason I cut the cord with cable a long time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, anytime we talk about Justin Trudeau, we get lacked out in the algorithm. So again, make sure as you're subscribing, if this video has earned your subscription, turn on your bell for notifications. Check back on the channel regularly every Monday to Friday, as we always have new content uploading here on The Fringe. Don't forget also to join us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time here on the channel for the weekly wrap live stream, where we talk about everything that's happened in the prior week, everything coming up in the week ahead, and a little bit of back and forth with the community. It's always great to see you guys in there, and I always look forward to hearing what you guys have to say outside of the comment section in there and chatting live, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you there. I hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your week. I'll catch you on the next one.